going, oh, I'm a little stiff. I don't know if I can get out on the hill today and ski. All of a sudden, there goes a paraplegic skiing down the hill. And I'm like, so, my good excuse just kind of lost some steam. So you look at people, here's this man with arms who's an artist. Most people wouldn't even try it. Wouldn't even try, but he didn't allow not having arms to be an excuse. Thanks, Margaret Ann. This is a list that changed my life. I watched this over and over because there was a time in my life I saw it and I said, I don't have a university degree. Maybe I need to go back and get my MBA. Maybe I this, maybe I that. I had all these great excuses going on. So I made a list of all these amazing people that have done amazing things in the world and made a difference. And I realized whatever their education was, whatever, how many times they've been married or not married, whatever they had working for them or not, they all had deficits to some degree. Some were huge, but they did it anyway. Because the truth is, you have such an abundance of potential, such an abundance of talent, that very few of us have scratched the surface. And you see, when I go out and work with teens nowadays, the one thing I teach them is how to do your best. Doing your best has become a rare standard for people. Most people get up there and I'll just do it enough to get it done. Pick one thing in your life, and do it your best every day. I don't care what it is, but just at least have one thing. And do your best, because that's all these people did, and they were enough. They were enough. One of my favorite inspirations is Helen Keller. I don't know about you. I don't think I need to tell you her story, right? And wow, what a difference this young woman made. Everybody else in the world had good excuses for her to be nothing, to expect nothing from her. But one person believed in her, and that was her teacher. One person saw a seed of greatness in her and allowed her to do her best. And she worked hard to do what she did. And what did she do? Read this. I am only one, but still I am me. Or still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. I will not refuse to do something I can do. If I can, I will. Because it's a privilege. It's a privilege. No one has a monopoly on achieving fame or fortune. The field is wide open. So when you look at each other today, not one of you is in competition with anybody else. There is enough room for all of you to be mind-blowingly phenomenal at something. So here's your question. What is your something? You know, as I'm going through with mortality's become kind of a big part of my life in this whole world of cancer. I actually was diagnosed with an invasive cancer, so they believe I still have cancer. I'm told their goal is to keep me alive for 10 years. I'm at the 5-year mark. They have one drug that I can take for 5 years, and they have a second drug that I can take for 5 years. That is what's going to keep me alive. Don't worry, Melanie, at the 10-year mark, we should have another drug. Problem is, I learned after about the 2.5-year mark, I can't take the drugs. They were making me so sick. I had to go with it, and I had to make my own decision to go off the drugs and to take my chance. Rocked my world, rocked my family, and it felt like we were getting up every day, hanging on. I should make it. That wasn't acceptable to me. So one of the things I needed to do was, I'm not a person that's used to living in fear, but I had this fear of death and dying around me in everything that I did. And so I needed to make peace with dying. And I realized everybody's going to Stop giving cancer so much power. You don't lose your battle with cancer. Dying is not a loss of a battle. It's not a defeat. It's part of life. So I've come to terms with that, to bury my fear. It's been the most liberating thing ever. If I die tomorrow, bring it on. I got bigger plans for the other side too. I live here. There is nothing left on the table. If I got something to say to somebody, I've said it. If I've got something I want to do, I've done it. You keep bringing stuff at me, I'm going to keep going and keep doing it. Because I have figured out my something. Don't leave here today without knowing what is your something. What is your one thing in your life and your time on this planet that you have selected to do your best at, to let it be your something? Because when you take a look at that list of people that I put up there, it's about something. And here's the next thing, is whatever that becomes in a goal or a challenge or whatever you face, don't do it for fame. And I watch this. People get doing something, and if they're not getting enough recognition, if it's not getting enough attention, you know, they're not becoming famous for it. They want it to be their thing. They don't do it. They feel like something's wrong. That's been a big shift in society over the last 5 years with all of these reality TV shows, as people are seeking fame more than they're seeking success. Stop it. Do it because it matters. Do it whether somebody's watching or not. Do it to your best, even if nobody's watching. Because that's your standard. The truth is, you're going to do something phenomenal in this world, and you may not even know it was phenomenal until you're dead. How many people were artists and composers that were starving to death while they were alive? But they did it anyway. Because it was their something. What is your something? So get over being famous. You know what? When you get over trying to be famous, you collaborate more. You work together more effectively. And I believe the future of business is in collaboration. You no longer can survive in small business today as an island. You must open your arms to each other, lock arms, and connect. And women, our capacity to do that is in direct relationship to our capacity to collaborate. So don't come out to networking events trying to find customers and my business and me. You come out to networking events to find out what you can do to help each other find new customers. Can you imagine if I turned around and said to Angie Carrier over here, who's a regional vice president with Party Like Gifts, if I said to Angie, for the next 30 days, I'm going to go out and find new people to be on your team. Well, the average person's going, I don't have time to do that. I'm too busy building my own business. Oh, no. Angie, what I'm going to ask back in return is in the next 30 days, you go and find people to become graduates. I'll tell you what, I'll do a better job of promoting Angie than Angie will do of promoting Angie. Did you know that? Isn't it easier to talk about somebody else being amazing than it is about yourself? That's what networking is, my friends. Do you get that? Find a network of people that are prepared to do that for each other, not network because they want to see what they can get from each other. Think about that today. Next is, you all have a past. You all have track records. It's over. It's over. I'm not proud of this, but I like to share it. I am on my 4th husband.